1938 was the year the United States Department of Labor passed the Fair Standards Labor Act to regulate the employment of minors in traditional entertainment spaces. Yet, what the happened with child influencers? There are almost zero federal regulations when it comes to the safety of child influencers. 100% of the directions in videos like this typically come from the adult behind the camera, as the footage often features children performing extreme, heightened emotions that do not match the reality of what they are playing or doing. And they are being suggested to coach to maximize retention and watch metrics. Two parents are usually the one managing these accounts. The employee no longer has an ability to resign, no human resources department to contact, because they are a child. We need to talk about Gen Alpha influencers and how Gen Alpha influencers are being directly affected by people trying to exploit children and exploit these rules. In talking about how every kid is on social media now, 64% of children aged 8 to 12 are now active on social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube on a daily basis, a statistic that represents a massive demographic shift and how adulthood is lived and how childhood consumer culture is that explain why brands are so cognizant to develop strategies for kids and to market to them. And who do they go to first? Child influencers.
I don't come today as the daughter of a felon, nor as a victim of an abnormally abusive mother. I come today as a victim of family vlogging. This money has helped me in my adult life. However, this payment was usually a bribe. For example, we'd be rewarded $100 or a shopping trip if we filmed a particularly embarrassing moment or an exciting event in our lives. But despite any monetary payment children may receive, don't let this excuse the 24/7 labor that these children are subjected to.
Thousands of stories just like that one. Right now, thousands of videos currently populate the Sephora kid trend, which is a manifestation of this corporate pressure where preteen girls are destroyed. They are filmed testing these displays of makeup or demanding expensive skincare products that are chemically unsuitable. They will damage their skin. There's zero regard for the child's long-term skin health in these videos. But it's not just about the skin health. A lot of these videos are embarrassing. Millions of views are generated by this specific type of content because it functions as rage bait. That's a strategy where engagement is prioritized regardless whether that engagement comes from adoration or from adults leaving angry comments about the child's behavior. One specific engagement metric that drives this behavior is the algorithm's inability to distinguish between positive and negative attention, meaning that if a video filled with comments criticizing a child's bratty behavior or even death threats, that will be pushed to the algorithm even more, because the algorithm thinks it's just a video of a kid playing quietly. 3 specific emotions, anger, shock, and disgust, are often the most effective drivers of this shame towards these kids. And it incentivizes parents to push their children towards more extreme and provocative performances that will ignite a reaction from this cruel audience. And obviously, when you see other kids being influencers, it's going to make you become an influencer too, which I think is where we're getting at. Gen Alpha is worth insane amounts of money. Brands are so desperate to get kids on camera because they know that their parents have money. And so these parents are buying these products thinking they're doing the best for their children, like this anti-aging cream. But they're really not at all, because what these products are doing to their children is damaging them. You'd be surprised, but most of these channels don't actually earn most of their money through rage bait. Instead, it's 2 distinct revenue streams: ad revenue from views and direct brand sponsorships, which creates a feedback loop where families are rewarded financially for sacrificing their children's dignity and privacy, while the platforms take their cut without assuming responsibility for the child labor occurring on their servers.
For years, I have used the same definition from the Safeguarding Network on child exploitation. Child exploitation is when someone uses a child for financial gain, sexual gratification, labor, or personal advantage. Family vloggers and influencers who are using their kids as content are checking 3 out of 4 of those boxes. So yes, it's child exploitation.
30 seconds is all it takes for a viewer to decide to watch one of these branded videos, which forces these child influencers to perform with very high energy and exaggerated expressions from the very first frame. This creates a hyper-stimulating environment that leaves no room for authentic human behavior. This is so damaging to a young child because they don't learn how to regulate healthy or unhealthy emotions, and it affects them going into adulthood. A 10-year-old's recorded meltdown or skincare routine that will remain searchable forever, which can potentially affect their future in educational employment. This is all a commodification of childhood errors and experiments, and the entire structure of this economy relies on the fact that the primary laborer, the child, cannot consent to the work, cannot negotiate the contracts, and, in many cases, cannot even access the bank account where their money is deposited. And bedroom tours. These are private moments. When I think of bedroom, that is a private space that I should not be sharing with anyone unless I'm of an appropriate age. And when you have these parents who are sharing their children's bedrooms to the entire internet for millions of people to see, that is a big concern. Children will not know how to distinguish the difference between, is this a private space? Is this not a private space? And this leads us to kids making content for kids. $50,000 is the estimated annual revenue floor for even a mid-tier Roblox gameplay channel, which is a figure that transforms into what appears to be a hobby into a high-stakes financial operation that rivals many adult careers. There are millions of dollars generated by these top-tier channels in this category, which creates an immense amount of economic incentive for parents to professionalize their children's playtime and convert the family computer room into a dedicated production studio. We might call this content slop, which is a derogatory, but it's an accurate label for this mass-produced, low-effort, high-stimulation videos. These videos flood children's algorithms worldwide. You've probably even seen your younger sibling, or if so, your kid watching these videos. What's sad is that 38 minutes is the average amount of time children under the age of 9 now spend gaming daily. That's a figure that's never been seen since 2020. And this provides a never-ending demand for this new content to continue alongside their own gameplay. The early 2010s really signified this child influencer content. Within the beginning of the 2010s, this served as the formative period where toy unboxing videos established the initial template for when we monetize this childhood play. 24 hours a day, the algorithm now demands fresh content to demand relevance. It is a significant escalation from where YouTube used to be about 10 years ago, where it was just someone holding a camera and having fun. There are entire production studios dedicated to the art of making videos. Kids have to perform non-stop for this content. So for a typical kids content channel, what I know from behind the scenes is you have to upload daily because Roblox, toys, all of these content markets are so saturated with thousands of families doing the exact same thing. And when you have thousands of families doing the exact same thing, you need to upload more frequent and send off more videos to your editor. So these kids will be making content up to 40 hours a week, which is crazy. That is a full-time job. One of the stories that is told the most of the child labor exploitation was the story of Ryan's World. $22 million was the precise annual revenue that 7-year-old Ryan Kaji generated in 2019. That's a figure that fundamentally shifted the global perception of what a child's playtime is worth. One specific ranking by Forbes magazine verified this statistic, which placed a first grader as one of the highest creators on YouTube, which out-earned established adult entertainers. And this set a dangerous benchmark for aspiring parents everywhere. 2 major corporate filings show how the Ryan's World channel did not retain a simple thing of home movies. This was a massive corporate entity that had Ryan as the star of the show. One specific data point from the channel's history reveals a disturbing trajectory, where the content shifted from just Ryan playing in his room to scripted high-energy performances that required him to work professional hours without professional expectations. He's older now, but it's almost like his life was like a movie called The Truman Show. And if you know The Truman Show, his entire life was on display for everyone to see. But the difference is Truman is an adult there. Ryan was a kid. This all was exposed when in 2024, that was the year legal filings exposed the grim reality of Ryan's lifestyle. This was through a separate case of Piper Raquel. She was a teenage influencer whose mother managed a content house of young creators. $1.58 million was the exact settlement amount paid to resolve a lawsuit that accused Raquel's mother of exploiting the other children in the group to fuel the family channel growth. There was a lot of money involved. She described under oath how her mother monetized her puberty. 0 moments of privacy were allowed because the camera was always rolling, which captured moments that should have been captured behind doors forever. 2 priorities were clearly established in this dynamic: the engagement data, not the kid. There are 0 federal laws that exist to protect child influencers, as the Fair Standards Labor Act still contains an exception for family businesses that allows parents to just bypass child regulations entirely in the States. And that's what they are. These are child actors, when the person I'm on YouTube is not the same as the person I'm off YouTube. And honestly, I'm sure for a lot of these kids, it's the exact same. And because it's the exact same for a lot of these kids, well, what are you supposed to do? Some of the protections that I think can be regulated is that children should not be allowed to have a YouTube channel. It should actually be a law. It shouldn't just be YouTube says you shouldn't be 13 and owning a YouTube channel. Yeah, I get why these laws have to be implemented, but it also creates a tricky situation where you have these kids who are under 16 and get banned from social media because of these laws, but child influencers are such a small portion of that. And I really do not agree with banning social media for younger kids, because then as an adult, they'll transition into an adult and have no actual functional skills to regulate themselves, which we saw in Australia. Kids were destroying malls, stuff like that, because they got social media banned for them. So what I think needs to happen is more laws against child influencers. So one of these laws was actually introduced last year. 100% of this footage from these child influencers is effectively permanent, meaning that you can never erase it, the damage can never go away. And even when kids try and play video games, there are interviews from child former actors that say, I can't live normal, or I can't see a camera without having a panic attack. As long as that ad revenue remains up, those videos will remain up. I don't know if I was a child influencer how I would be able to have a relationship with my parents. The fact that they're making so much money of you, and most of these kids actually never see a cent. I can't imagine that. So, really, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. I cover digital culture and really stories that matter. If you like to see videos once every 4 days a week, I cover stories that matter and things that matter. Thank you so much for watching.